I've promised to do a detailed video about the computer that was inside the 40-inch industrial signage touch display. And I mentioned before that it's a Core 2 Duo based machine there, and it's quite compact and has a quite reasonable selection of ports at the back as well. Now, the back leads us on to how we might be able to gain access to this thing, because there are two screws at the back there. So if I just undo them, we might be able to proceed a little further. So okay, now I've removed both of those screws, the case should begin to move slightly. Now, from what I remember, this is quite tightly held in. So now the case does just slide forward like that, although it does initially take quite a lot of force to do so. And once we have opened up the case there, we can then see a little bit more inside. So there are sort of ribbon cables to connect to the front panel things there. There is the slimline DVD drive, and also we can sort of see a fan in there as well. Now there are some more screws alongside the bottom here, and one on the top, and a couple on the top there, which will perhaps lead us to the sort of next part of this teardown. And just while actually opening the thing up, I noticed this has a model number on it, which is DE-945CD. And when then looking up the manufacturer of this, which is Aopen, this is their sort of complete digital signage integrated PC. So now if we just have a little look at this more, so based on the fact that we've undone the screws along here, something should possibly be able to lift up. And that is true. So this module lifts up, and it has quite clearly the hard drive in it, which is a SATA Fujitsu hard drive, and it also has a Sony NEC DVD slimline drive. Now both these connect through a little sort of interboard connector there, and then underneath that we have the main board. So this is the main board. So you can see it's quite a nice, quite a compact unit. So we have the two RAM slots up there. It uses the sort of standard laptop RAM sort of size. We have the board-to-board connector at the bottom there. The standard ports along here, including the sort of cables for the serial port. And then the majority of the space on the left is taken up by the heatsink for the CPU, which in this case is socketed. So now I'm just going to try and lift up that heatsink, and just to note, it is a copper heatsink. There is quite a nice sort of orangey pink colour of copper shining through from underneath there. Okay, so here it is with the heatsink, or the fan heatsink, removed. So we can see this in a little bit more detail now. So this has also just add two RAM slots, so it can take up to 4 GB with two 2 GB slots. It's a mini PCI slot, which is that white slot there. And we can see that the CPU is socketed. And just to show the heatsink a little bit more, you can just about see the nice sort of coppery sort of salmon pink look there. Also, the fact that the board is made by Aopen is clearly shown by the logo there. But nonetheless, this is a rather neat little sort of board, which is quite sort of well organised, and is almost, yeah, it's quite a neat little system. I quite like mini ITX based PCs, so I quite like this little thing. Now this heatsink doesn't really seem to have much in the way of thermal paste, but it does have sort of a metal, very shiny metal surface on it with thermal paste below that, so that presumably then forms the thermal coupling layer for this. Thanks for watching. I'll probably stick a 120GB SSD in the machine, because it would probably slightly benefit from having an SSD, and SSDs, especially the small capacity ones, are very cheap now. So thanks again, and I'll see you on the next video.